Hey, what up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you with the Monday Night Preview for November 24th, 2014. This is going to be hot off the heels of the Survivor Series pay-per-view. Honestly, it was a pretty good show at the end of the day. I don't know why I keep saying that, because basically the first 2 hours of this show was bad. You had a few title changes. You have a Divas title change hands with Nikki Bella walking away with the title. We had the Miz and Mizdow win the tag championships. 2 of the tag matches ended with basically the same finish. One of the partners getting the pinfall and taking the victory for the team. One of those teams becoming tag team champions. And the partner of that person being upset that they didn't get the highlight of the match by getting the pinfall. Basically, we saw Miz almost have a temper tantrum over Mizdow being the guy who got the pin, and then we saw Adam Rose furious that the Bunny took the pinfall out of his match, and you can see that pot is boiling over. Honestly, when it comes down to it, I think that the Bunny versus Adam Rose would have been a damn good pre-show match. We got Swagger versus Cesaro. We got Fandango making his return against Justin Gabriel. Both of those matches, honestly, at the end of the day, really don't matter if they're even discussed on what's going down on Monday Night Raw. I would be surprised maybe if you would have added some sort of a stipulation to the Cesaro versus Swagger match, basically where maybe it made something matter in the main event. Maybe you would have made the pre-show make a little bit of sense how both guys had ties. Swagger was supposed to be a member of Team Cena. Cesaro was supposed to be a member, well, I guess not really, but he came out and he sort of, tricked Team Cena on the Monday Night Raw go-home show from there. One of the biggest stories is going to be who's going to be the authority of Monday Night Raw. Basically, with the match last night, Triple H and Stephanie basically are not going to be a part of TV anymore. They made it really sound like they weren't even going to be on television. They're not going to be, ruling members of the WWE. They're not going to be in control of anything that goes on in, the booking or the writing or, I don't know how to say that, but you understand what I'm saying. They're not going to be able to control what happens on Monday Night Raw as a character-wise thing where basically the writers write something for them and whatever. Stephanie will still be in charge of the writing team. Triple H will still be in charge of talent relations, where he's making sure all the guys, get signed. And we got to see one of his biggest signings in Sting coming in from WCW, making his return. I thought that was one of the highlights of the show when they were having their stare down. Sting and Triple H, and basically Triple H looked at Sting after a good while and just looked at him like, I don't know what he said to him, but in my mind I was like, you're a washed out has-been from WCW, you're nothing. And basically that's when Triple H went to go attack Sting and Cena, and Sting was able to make a counter on it, and then he was able to hit the death drop on him, and then roll over Ziggler on top of Rollins, the referee, to get in there and get the 1, 2, 3, even though I don't even know what knocked them out. I don't even know why they were dead on the outside for so long for them to get the pin, but I don't think that was supposed to be anything about it. I think that the match was supposed to freeze in time for, Sting and Triple H, and then they were supposed to go back to it, but I still don't remember if there was I don't know why both of them would have been knocked out like that. I don't know if both of them hit the finisher on them at the same time, but I don't know. When I go back and watch this match, it's 45 minutes long. I'll watch it someday, but I'm not going to be watching it anytime soon. It doesn't really something you want to sit down and watch again. But is Vince McMahon going to be the guy who sits down and he's sort of like the guy who's in charge of WWE? He doesn't have to be on all the shows. Maybe he just come out and make the big sort of announcements or anything like that. There's the new stipulation of basically the only person that can bring Triple H and Stephanie as the authority back to having the controlling part of the WWE is John Cena. John Cena has to ask them to come back and put them into place. Vince McMahon's not going to be able to do it. John Laurinaitis, Teddy Long, Vicky Guerrero, now the computer, Hornswoggle, nobody has any power that can bring them back. The only person is John Cena. I don't know if they're going to maybe do like an I Quit style match of John Cena where they tie him up and they torture him into the point where he finally says he has to come back. I've heard some things basically saying that Triple H is going to be making Sting's life a living hell to the point where Sting begs John Cena to bring back Triple H so he can have Sting versus Triple H as the match at WrestleMania. I'm not a real big fan of Sting. I never have, never will be. But honestly, as time drew close for the Survivor Series, it looked more and more like this was really going to happen last night. I will honestly say that when my lunch ended at about 4:30 yesterday afternoon before the pay-per-view and the pre-show started, I was a little bit fired up, and I was a little bit, upset that I was, staying at work and I wasn't going to be able to see this show live. I understand that I can come home and I can watch it on the WWE Network in the on-demand section. I didn't know that when I fired up my WWE Network and and I went to go press the button to watch Survivor Series, they were going to have a huge ad on my Apple TV. Don't miss the return of Sting to WWE. That's the reason for On Demand. That's the reason why I'm coming home and watching this show, 15, 20 minutes after. No, I guess it was an hour because I didn't get off till 9. But I mean, like an hour after the show, I'm going to watch it live. Maybe you put that ad up in 2-3 days. Don't put it up right away because you just spoiled the end of your pay-per-view. For somebody like me who stayed away from spoilers for a reason. I was deleting all of my text messages. I wasn't looking at Twitter. I turned off my little pop-up alerts from everybody so I wouldn't be spoiled what was going down. Did I know it was going to happen? Yes, but I don't need to see a picture of him walking out as the damn thumbnail for the show. And I'm sure I'm going to get some hate because of my thumbnails that I use on here. But then again, I don't really know who's going to watch a Monday Night Preview. But I just wanted to get all this off my chest because I've listened to 2 podcasts this morning. I listened to the Wrestling Observer. I listened to the Law Radio. And I'm fired up for Monday Night Raw tonight. I'm pretty much knowing that Sting's not going to be there, so he's not going to be there as sort of like that GM guy, controlling Monday Night Raw. So we don't know who's going to be this person that moves into power. I don't think Sting would be the greatest guy to be the GM of Monday Night Raw. I think he's sort of like the Undertaker, where the less you see of this guy, the better. It's a long time from Survivor Series to get us to WrestleMania. You can sort of see, when Hogan, made his debut, and he came out, and then he sort of, sporadically showed up, in spots, and now they're using him almost sometimes in back-to-back Monday Night Raw appearances, and he's sort of doing the same thing week in and week out. He doesn't really have the same appeal. There's some of us that will jump up and down every time Hogan's music's played, because we never know when the last time we're going to hear Hogan's music. We don't know if history serves us right. I'm sure that Hogan loves the fact that he has a job with WWE, but there always sort of seems to get to a point where basically money comes between Vince McMahon and Hulk Hogan walks out on WWE. There's not a lot of places for Hogan to go. I don't know if this is going to happen anymore. He's sort of in a Legends fashion where he only is used maybe once a month. Sometimes it goes a little bit of a time, and he has a lot of, autograph signings and Q&As and sort of things like that sort of he does around the country, and he'll probably do like WrestleMania Access, SummerSlam Access, deals like that, and hopefully he's doing a lot of network shows that'll debut someday. But I don't think Hogan's a good guy to put out there either, because it's almost like the less you see of these guys, the more special they are. I don't know if I would even hold Sting off to see him even until January. I say this about Sting and Hogan, but then again, there's Brock Lesnar, who's the champion of WWE, who I'm fed up with. I mean, the fact that some people liking the fact that Brock is the champion because it brings this prestige to WWE. The guy's not showing up on Monday Night Raw. He's damn well not on Main Event or SmackDown. We haven't seen him on a pay-per-view since September. It's almost like WWE doesn't have a champion. They might as well, if this happened to anybody else in the WWE, they would have stripped him and had a tournament, and they would have gone on from there. But looking at TLC, they've already announced Dean Ambrose versus Bray Wyatt at TLC. That was announced before the pay-per-view even ended last night. I was really upset that basically that Vince McMahon, after Survivor Series never aired. I don't understand how you own your own WWE Network, and basically you're not able to control what goes on with the WWE Network. I love the line that Dave Meltzer said, but it basically was they showed the show and they went directly into a replay, and they were surprised that the replay lasted as long as the first run, and then they didn't have enough time to put it on because they didn't want to bump Monday Night Wars episode of The Rock, and they didn't want to bump Legends House. So I don't know when this thing's going to air. It's almost like that Roman Reigns special update that they were going to air when Roman Reigns first got injured, and they were going to do that sort of break in thing, but they didn't want to break during the CM Punk documentary for some reason, so they announced this deal and left us all sitting here watching the WWE Network waiting for this thing to happen. I wanted to see the first break. That's why I really cared about that. But also, with Big Show knocking out John Cena, eliminating John Cena, being pinned by Seth Rollins, and also walking out, shaking the hands of Triple H, it looks like we're setting up another match of John Cena versus the Big Show at TLC. Yay! I don't think anybody's really fired up about that. But I don't know. I don't even know really what to title this Monday Night Raw preview here. Also, look out for Larry the Cable Guy and a returning Santino Marella. I don't think this is the best time for Santino to give a retirement speech. Maybe give just sort of like a 1 second sort of wave and sort of say he's been gone for a while because of his neck injury. But I've also read and seen certain things where Santino is training for a comeback, and you got to wish the guy the best. I know that when he left, basically it was Adam Rose who was going to become the new comedy guy. Mizdow is going to be the new comedy guy. So there's a lot of spots, a lot of people vying to open up and get into that spot where you're sort of looked at as like you're a joke. But then again, Santino is a former Intercontinental Champion. He's a former United States Champion, former Tag Champion. So even though you're in this comedy spot, you're never going to be a main event guy. He gets to hold a lot of titles. He gets a lot of prestige in the WWE, and there's some people out there who really like the guy. So we'll see what happens. But let's see. Did I cover everything I wanted to talk about? New tag champ. New Diva champ. I don't know what's going on with Diva champ. Is Brie excited that AJ is the champion because now she'll challenge her in a rematch from last month's pay-per-view, and now the title's going to be in line in that thing? Or did she realize that basically the Bella way is the best way, and we're not going to get any more Brie mode as her own theme, and she's going back to "you can look but you can't touch," and that's gonna go down. Big Show versus John Cena, TLC, Bray Wyatt versus Dean Ambrose. Get ready for lots of talking there. Who the hell's in charge of the show? Are they going to have just human anarchy with basically, like Triple H said, the inmates running the asylum? What's going to happen to the Big Show? What's going to happen to John Cena? Dolph Ziggler looks like the man, but where does he go from here? Is he just going to get an Intercontinental title shot against Luke Harper and win his belt back? Luke Harper doesn't look like a great Intercontinental champion. He brings no prestige to that belt. The belt brings no prestige to him. He never should have been, that guy. Maybe he holds the tag champions, but then again, raggedy guys like that holding gold doesn't really make sense to me. If I was Luke Harper and I won the Intercontinental champion, I would have ran out and pawned that belt, and I would have bought myself a new shirt. But that's just me. So peace out, everybody. See you guys after Monday Night Raw, and we'll talk a little bit more about some wrestling.